I'm restoring my first car, Frankie, a 1966 Ford Convertible, which I bought back 26 years after selling it. I'm Judy, and this is my Fairlane story. After Frankie Fairlane was pulled out of Pierre's barn and brought to Dave's shop, Dave and I checked out the condition underneath. He explained that my car has unibody construction made up of front, middle, and rear sections. There were some areas that were rusted, like the frame rails, but the front and back portions of Frankie were in structurally good condition. The rear quarter panels and wheel wells, which are considered the outside of the car and not the actual structure, had rusted out the most. My car was then disassembled, which included removing the engine and transmission. The badly rusted areas were cut out. Frankie was put on the rotisserie in order to do the prep work more efficiently. The tar-like sealant on the body was scraped off. After this was completed, the body was sent out to be media blasted to remove the rust and old paint. Once back, Frankie was coated with a gold self-etch primer, which prevents rust from forming while the bodywork is being done. The etch primer creates a chemical bond to the metal, and then for the next product being applied, such as an epoxy primer or body filler. The front section of my car was then coated with gray epoxy primer, since most of the work needed was in the back half. New metal was welded into the areas that had rusted out. Unlike Mustangs, there are not many aftermarket body parts available for Fairlanes, so these had to be made from scratch. After welding in the pieces, they were ground and sanded. This bare metal was then coated with self-etch primer. Frankie was lightly sanded in the areas needing body filler. A green fiberglass putty was applied to the areas and sanded. This was followed by an application of an off-white body filler. After sanding and wiping down these areas, gray epoxy primer was applied, so now the whole car was coated. 4 applications of polyester high-build primer were then applied. After each coat, my car was block sanded and wiped down. Some of the previous coat is removed with the sanding, so multiple coats are required to make a smooth, straight finish. A white epoxy primer was then applied to the whole car. All the seams were hand-painted with a seam sealer to match what was done at the Ford factory. A reddish-brown primer was applied to the underbody to match what Ford used in 1966. 3 coats of the original body color, Wimbledon white, were applied to the body and then separately to the fenders, hood, and trunk lid. Frankie's engine compartment was then painted black to match the original color. The top and interior are going to be Guardsman blue, also the original color. Dave mentioned that Wimbledon white was Ford's racing color, and this same blue and white combo was on the first Shelbys in 1965. It certainly took a lot of steps to get to this point, but Dave's crew did an exceptional job on the bodywork.
Oh, wow, it's gorgeous. Oh my God. It really is.
It is. Well, very nice.
Stay tuned for the next stage, Frankie's reassembly.